Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Property Management 101. And if your make-readies are always behind, I'm going to say something controversial. It is not a maintenance problem, it's an office problem. Because without confirmed notices, you cannot schedule anything. Notices are the oxygen of the make-ready pipeline. Without them, your team cannot schedule pre-walks, they cannot schedule vendors, you cannot align trades, schedule maintenance work, or even order supplies. This is exactly how 3 vacant days really quietly becomes weeks. Every day a unit sits vacant, it's lost rent. And turnover is one of the biggest controllable expenses that operators face. For those of you that are not sure what I'm referring to when I say the word notice, here's what I'm referring to. As per residence leases, they are required to give so much notice when they are deciding as far as if they're going to renew or not, if they plan on not renewing. Typically, residents have to give a time frame of 30 or 60 days or other time frames if they decide they're not going to be renewing at that given property. Oftentimes, when a site is struggling with their turnaround times, it is not necessarily due to the maintenance staff's fault. Oftentimes, it's due to the office's fault enforcing that notice required period in that residence lease. Without getting proper notice, this gives the maintenance team less time to prepare for their scheduled move-outs, which hurts their ability to turn around these units quickly from a make-ready process perspective. If you're a maintenance staff member, here are 3 things that I would recommend when it comes to preparing yourself for notices that are collected by the office staff. Number 1, you really want to make sure you know your notice period. So what are the residents required to give in their leases when it comes to that notice period? Is it 30 days? Is it 60 days? Is it something else? It's really important your staff is aware of this timeline when it comes to this part of the process. Also, do your residents have a different time frame if they're on a month-to-month lease compared to a traditional scheduled expiration date? What is really common in the industry, for example, is a situation where a resident's required to give a 60-day notice if they're on a traditional lease term, but if they're on a month-to-month term, they're only required to give 30-day notice. This is really important for you and the maintenance staff and the office staff to be aware of this. Also, something that's really important to do is make sure that your entire team knows what happens when a resident fails to give proper notice. So let's say they give notice 30 days out, but they're required to give notice 60 days out. What happens to that resident? How does that office staff enforce that? Is there an early penalty they have to pay? Do they have to pay additional rent? This is something that's really important that your team is enforcing and aware of. The second thing to consider when you're an office staff is you really want to make sure you know how to pull certain reports. If you're a maintenance technician, especially if you're a maintenance supervisor, you need to be aware of how to pull from your property management system certain reports that'll help you as far as managing this process. This will allow your entire team to be aware of upcoming scheduled move-outs and potential move-outs. There's a couple different reports to consider. So one common report that almost every single property management system has is a report that shows the number of vacant units and the number of scheduled move-outs coming up in the near future or any given time frame that you select by that reports system. This is going to be a really good report for you and your team to be aware of anyone that's been put on notice and that scheduled move-out date. The second type of report that's going to be really important for you and your team to be aware of is to be determined. So what I'm referring to is any renewal that is scheduled but may not necessarily have been put on notice yet or may not necessarily renewed yet. This is going to give you and your team a good idea of how many more potential move-outs we're going to have in that given time frame. And the last common report I would recommend that you and the maintenance staff are aware of and how to pull it is an expiration report. So this is really just simply a summary of the scheduled expirations month by month. This is a really great report to look ahead to kind of say, hey, next month we have a lot of scheduled move-outs that are possibly going to be occurring. Are we stocked up on supplies? Are we caught up on work orders? Have we done pre-walks? Anything like that you can do proactively will be really important to cut down on that make-ready timeline. And last but not least, this is probably the one that I find that is most commonly skipped, is simply knowing the process for scheduled move-outs. So when someone goes on notice, what is done? Who's aware of it? Is the entire team aware of it? If you don't have a process for this, I would highly recommend creating a process for this. So the things you want to consider is when someone goes on notice, who and when are we conducting pre-walks? These pre-walks are simply a move-out inspection that is done prior to the scheduled move-out date that the resident has. So the resident's still occupying the unit. So this is something you're going to coordinate with the resident and or the office to make sure you can conduct these and everyone's aware and everyone's ready to go for these. Another thing you want to consider is scheduling vendors. Are we going to have to clean the carpets? Are we going to have to paint the unit? Are there other things we need to schedule vendors for? You want to make sure you order parts and supplies. Do you have enough parts and supplies to turn this unit quickly? If you don't have that in stock, you want to make sure you're ordering it before it becomes vacant. Another thing you want to do is schedule walks. So when this resident moves out, you want to make sure you have a lot of time for your maintenance team to go into these units to collect any information you need to turn this unit quickly, like damages, parts you need, supplies you need, anything else that may be surprising that you weren't aware of during the pre-walk or prior. Now, one thing I would consider too is having a process if the unit's left in very bad condition. So let's say, for example, you do the pre-walk and the unit is trashed. You know you're going to have to give it a full paint, a full clean, etc. If there's situations like this, these are some things you want to consider if the unit is left in very bad condition so you're able to turn this unit quickly. One thing you want to consider is scheduling more vendors maybe for this unit than you typically do. I know this will increase the turn cost, but hopefully you can charge back a good portion of this to the resident security deposit. You also want to make sure that you're scheduling additional vendors to really keep down that turn time so you're not suffering a lot of vacancy loss. Either way, you're going to be suffering from an expense perspective, whether it be vendor costs or whether it be vacancy loss. So let's try to minimize the vacancy loss and try to put you in a better position to increase your occupancy position so you're at least in that position to do so. If you don't spend the money when it comes to additional vendors, you're going to have more vacancy loss because it's taking longer to turn, but no ability to improve your occupancy. Something to consider when you're looking and facing a unit that's left in worse condition. Another couple things you want to consider when a unit's left in very bad condition is, hey, are we needing a lot of parts and supplies that we may not have on stock? If so, you want to order those right away to give them time to get them in so you're ready to go when that unit becomes vacant. I would also really make sure for bad units, you're putting time on your staff's schedule to allow them to have time to go into these units and perform any jobs that you know they're going to be needed in these units. The last thing I would consider for a unit that's in very bad condition is, are there things we can take care of prior to that resident moving out? This will really help cut down on the turn time and really help you and your team when it comes to turning this unit quickly, getting it back online quickly. Another couple things to consider when it comes to knowing the process. When your residents give notice, does the office team send out a move-out packet? A lot of operators do send out a move-out packet when residents go on notice. This includes information as far as how your deposit will be handled. This will include information about the resident providing a forwarding address. This will include information about scheduling pre-walks. So maybe something to consider as a team where we can only schedule pre-walks once that resident's received that move-out packet. This way the resident's aware, they're heads up, they have a good expectation of what's going on. If a resident goes on notice today and that team in the office has not sent out the move-out packet, I would not necessarily reach out to that resident as a maintenance staff to schedule that pre-walk before that move-out packet has gone out. Knowing what your team does when a resident gives notice for the move-out packet perspective is something really important, and maybe it's something your team is not aware of. I would make sure the entire team is aware of that part of the process and how it coordinates and aligns with everything else. And the last thing you want to consider when it comes to knowing the process is, what is your company's standard? Do they expect every unit that becomes vacant to be turned around in 5 business days, 7 business days, 10 business days, something else? What is the average as a maintenance staff you need to be aware of when it comes to what that company's expectation is? I'm always blown away when I talk to individuals that work in the operations side of the industry, how often they don't know what their company standard is and they don't have a number that they're shooting for when it comes to that turnaround time. This is also probably why maybe that make ready timeline is creeping up as far as the number of days, because we don't even have a goal that we're setting. So it's something to consider as well. So to wrap things up, if you're struggling as a maintenance staff when it comes to turning units quickly and those timelines for that turnaround time being lower, not higher, I would really make sure that your office team is enforcing the required notice period. If you're getting a lot of residents giving notice at the 30-day mark, not the 60-day mark, then it could be something that you want to follow up with your team to make sure that they're performing so it doesn't hinder your ability as a maintenance staff to turn units quickly. Maintenance can't win if that calendar remains a mystery. Thank you for watching till the end of the video. I hope this video provided at least one valuable tip for you and your teams. Your feedback is very important to us. Please leave a comment if you have any suggestions as far as how can we improve this video, or if you have any questions, or if there's aspects of this video that you felt that we left out on this subject. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to show your support, please feel free to like the video, as well as comment what your favorite part of the video was. Happy leasing!